Sure.
You got to get a hat,
because
though.
I would like to know. Yeah, it is a hat stream. AJ is the only one who doesn't have to wear a hat.
Since we're on here capping, I figured we'd bring the caps out.
Yeah,
That's
real.
right. Can you talk to the method of defrauding the colonel and getting him out of the company? I'm a little fuzzy on the details there, if that makes sense.
Okay, so let's see. There's a couple different ways. I think the first way was on the next day, he told me he knew somebody in, what's that old company? Was it Blackwater? He said he knew somebody in Blackwater and that he was going to try to, first he told me all this negativity about the colonel. He told me a bunch of claims against him that turned out to not be true, right? In an effort to get me to not like him or trust him. Then he says he got this information from somebody from Blackwater, right? Which, from my understanding, from a former military guy who actually applied to work for Blackwater and Triple Canopy, I thought Blackwater was out of business since 2010, you know?
Right.
So I don't know if Blackwater's still around, but if there is, he claims that he's talking to somebody from Blackwater. All right. So regardless, he said that he had this other partner and he wanted this new partner to be in the company. And ultimately, I think he just wanted to, I don't remember specifically the mechanics of how he wanted to get rid of it. He was trying to prep me to like, hey, I got somebody else, you know, fuck this guy. He said, if we can get him off, why don't we just get him off? Because
was there a reason for that? Was he like, hey, we need to get rid of the colonel because what?
He felt that the colonel didn't deserve his equity in the company because I'm not 100% sure. I personally, if I was to break it all down, like, you know, the psychoanalysis, and I don't want to even have to go there like that, 'cause I'm not trying to disrespect Alex. This is just all business right now. But if you run a psychoanalysis on Alex, I would kind of determine that he's a little bit narcissistic and, you know, has like a little bit of a ego issue, you know? He wants to always be the best. He's always the one upper. And I'm pretty sure all you guys who've ever talked to Alex can probably understand that. So I think what happened there is like, you know, the colonel being in his position and Alex being young and then working with all these guys, he felt maybe like, you know, he had to establish his dominance or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but basically what I do know is that he hated the colonel. You know, I couldn't really understand why, because when I broke down the details, I said, okay, so this guy gave you money. This guy's running point on sales for your company. He's networking on behalf of your company, and he's out there going and spending his own money. I mean, to go out to these other states to make these relationships, you know, to share the trigger and stuff like that, you know. So in my experience, it's very hard to get a sales director. I mean, even if you pay guys, like I pay guys 75K starting as a sales director, and half the time these guys never, not even half the time, 9 times out of 10, these guys don't even work out. So to have a partner that's willing to do it for free and invest money, pay to do it, to me, I saw a lot of value in that. And I tried to express that to Alex. But at the end, he didn't see the value. He always thought he can do everything on his own, which is kind of a part of being young. When I was young, I was the same way. I didn't really get ahead in life until I was well into my mid-30s because I had that like, oh, I can do it all by myself. I can do, you know, I don't want to share.
Well, you were in the military till 27, 28, right?
Right. But then that's when I started getting, I mean, in the Army, guys, I was doing business. You know, I've always made money, even in the Army, you know, but really hardcore when I first got out. I have numerous companies. Those companies are still operating today in all type of different backgrounds. Small businesses like barbershops and car stereo shops. And, you know, I even had a body shop at one point. I sold it. It's still open. You know, so I did a lot of small things. And then I eventually got into, you know, cannabis out in California, which then later on brought me to, you know, learn about these medicinal benefits. That later on opened the doors for me to a lot of worldly figures, like in Thailand, Brazil, and a lot of other countries that I'm lobbying the legalization of these products. So, you know, that's how the progression of right where I come from. But I come from being a small business guy. I am a small guy. So when I saw Alex, I'm a small guy doing big things, right? And so when I saw Alex, I kind of wanted to help him out, you know, once again. But when he started to do these, and I even told Alex, I said, if you can burn the colonel, how do I know you're not going to burn me? I told him this, you know, and at the end, you know, he's a smooth talker. You know, I've had a lot of partners in my life, so I know his personality. You know, he might have fooled me for 30 days, but that's all it took. After 30 days, I knew once we had to start working together day to day, you start to see the small warning signs. And now we're at the point where he basically, you know, like put it like this: there's company accounts, right, at Bank of America, and he was supposed to, you know, legally, in order if you have two partners on a business, you're supposed to have both partners on the account at the same time, right? Well, we went into Bank of America with Jesus, the other partner of the company at the time. I guess apparently they were both on there together. Apparently the bank says that some fraudulent documents were submitted, and even requested because I used to have so many accounts. You know, I have so many business accounts. No, honestly, I like a lot. So I know the process. I have a lot of different partnerships, and I know how difficult it is to open a business account when you have multiple partners. So I was curious and I asked the bank, how does Alex even have this account? So this account has my money in it at this point. right? This account has my money sitting in the account that only Alex has access to. And I thought Jesus had access to it as well. So I asked the bank, how is it possible that you're able to open an account with two partners and only one is the primary on the account? You know? So I said, even most of the banks, they have a system where they have to check this stuff on the SOS, the Secretary of State. And they said that they've transitioned to a new system. So they've been requesting or requiring their new customers to bring in the documents by hand, right? So when I showed them the actual documents, I logged into the SOS on my profile, showed them the original documents, and that they informed us that some fraudulent stuff. And mind you, we've been on the phone for an hour. They're on the phone with the back office, the fraud department, and the lady. And I have a picture of it. I have a picture of the number, the phone number that the bank representative, the branch manager, written down, and says, you know what, because you guys were never on the account, we can't release these documents to you. But if you contact the authorities and give them this fraud department number, we're going to turn over all the documents to them. And then in a sense, the bank said, hey, you have to call the police.
Two hats, huh?
So I didn't even want to call the police on Alex because that's not the kind of person I am, but he put me in a situation.
So what was the actual fraudulent activity?
You can't open a bank account and sign someone's name to open the bank account, Focus. Sign Jesus Guerra's name.
Oh, so he was signing other people's names to an account? That's the allegation?
No, we don't know specifically what it is. All Bank of America told us is that fraudulent documents have been submitted, and that's how Alex was able to be the only one on the business account, despite that there was two partners on the Secretary of the State Corporation, which was Jesus Guerra. So, because Jesus walks in the bank and says, hey, I'm the owner. Jesus is not only just the owner, he's also the registered agent, and he's also the patent inventor and main patent inventor, not Trigger Empire, not Alex, only Jesus Guerra in his name as an individual who contracted the attorneys has a patent in his name. Right.
So, where is Jesus in all of
a drill
this?
sergeant hat, by the way?
Yeah, I've been a drill sergeant for the past 2 years.
That's the bomb. The bomb. I still remember. I still remember my drill sergeant. I still remember. Is there baby blue around that?
Correct.
Sorry, AJ. We turned into a hat stream somehow.
That's okay.
AJ knows what baby blue means too. AJ earned the CIP.
I mean, if they're going to say they're all hat.
So a question about Jesus. So Jesus is the actual inventor, designer of this trigger system. He's the guy who's out X amount of monthly funds, allegedly, that he was paid. And then also his name is being forged on documents.
No, I don't think it's being forged on documents. I'm only speculating once again, and I don't want to get into.
We'll find out. Focus, to be quite honest.
Okay.
All I can tell you is what the bank told me. The bank said that fraudulent documents had been submitted by Alex, which prevented Jesus to be on the accounts, which gave Alex access to these bank accounts. That apparently there was $30,000 in chargebacks and potentially additional fraudulent activities, and the bank had urged me to notify the police so the fraud department can turn over the documents. What those documents are, I don't know, but I can tell you that I have my funds tied into an account with Trigger Empire, right? That I have no access to. Jesus Guerra had no access to. Only Alex had access to it. And when I asked him to do certain things, like, hey, even before he was gone, hey, can you pay his monthly stipend that we promised engineer? Because we asked him to. When I say we, I'm talking Alex, but we as a company, right? Alex asked him to quit his job, right? So here you got a guy who's working, he's doing something, and he's like, hey, I quit your job. I'm gonna offer you this much money. I'm gonna pay you this much money, and then and work on this full time. He never paid him the money, not even 1 month in full. I mean, the first 30 days, Alex is in breach of his agreement off the bat. Jesus, being a good guy that he is, and all you guys who met him out there know how good of a good-hearted person Jesus is. He's a very trusting individual. And he quit his job, and Alex put him in a very tough situation financially. But ultimately, Jesus got fed up with it. And even when I had my first meeting with Alex and Jesus for the very first time, I can see some of Jesus' frustration because he voiced a couple of things publicly. Like he was giving me, like he was showing me that, hey man, you know what? Yeah, I'm working with Alex, but I need you to know a couple of these things. And he said it right in front of Alex. In front of Alex, outside, where were we? We went to Texas Roadhouse, and before that, we went to a gun range. And we're sitting outside the gun range, I'm over there smoking or whatever. And we're talking, we're just trying to, vibe and chill together. And even Jesus told me, hey, Alex, did you tell him about your, I forgot how he worded it, how he framed it, but he basically he gave me like a tip, like, oh, Alex had something pending in the background that I needed to know about. So he kind of gave me hints, that there was some shit going on with Alex already, but he didn't put Alex on blast. He didn't say anything. And then later on, I would discover numerous things, and I know I'm not even covering it everything correctly, but I'm just trying to give you guys as much information and details as possible. But so yeah, Jesus was burned, and in addition to that, Jesus actually started the company. Like he started the company in the form of he's the registered agent, right? He's a patent inventor. Jesus took out $20,000 or $24,000 in loans to fund the company.
Mhm.
In which Alex said he was going to fund the company and asked this guy to quit and pay him. At the end, Jesus, being a trusting guy, took out a loan for the company. Alex is probably telling him like, "Hey, I'll pay you back. Don't worry." This, that, and the other. He took all his money. All right, didn't pay him. He took the colonel's money. Didn't pay him. He took everybody's. Apparently, he took a bunch of your guys' customers' money. Didn't pay those guys. And I invested money as well. And then when I did, the minute I put the money in there, he was very, I'm going to say, secretive over the accounts. And I would actually love to share you the text messages of me asking for screenshots of how much money's in the account. Did we pay these vendors that he had owed, right? He owed vendors. And then I was like, tells me afterwards, I learned after the money's in there, so then they're using my money to pay off these vendors that were owed from fucking who knows how long ago. 6 months ago, 4 months ago, I don't know idea. And I'm like, damn, but I'm a team player. So I'm like, all right, guys, let's get everybody paid, right? Because we don't need the company to have a bad name. But he had control over the money. We don't know how the money was spent. And, that's just that's my angle, like that's what he did to me, now everybody else can talk about what happened to them.
Yeah. So it's basically, you're the main investor in this as
I'm
far
the
as
main guy, man.
Right. So, all right. So now, well, I guess we can talk about that later, but moving forward, you're still doing the thing, but now with Texas Triggers and the Colonel, right?
I can't do Texas Triggers because it has such a bad name, right?
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if you two were still in business or not, so that's what I was wondering.
Texas Trigger is going to be shut down, and then we formed a new
You
entity.
mean Trigger Empire?
Oh, sorry, yeah, that's what I was.
No.
That's what I was referring to. Yeah, Trigger Empire is getting shut down.
Yes, sir.
Texas Triggers is the new company that's going to be Jesus, the original designer, Colonel, and AJ. Right, you guys are the main three on that.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Yeah, perfect. Colonel, did you ever have an altercation with Alex about all of this stuff when it was like kind of all getting brought to fruition, anything like that?
No, I've never had an altercation with him. But someone did ask, in other words, how does a colonel become involved with this young man? Number one, you try as a leader to be able to provide mentorship, and really tried hard, provided that. I think also, Alex's brother, truthfully, she disabled Sergeant E5, worked very hard, and she asked me to take care of her son. I tried my best. And I told her that I'd take care of him just like I'd take care of soldiers and try to be a leader. Tried multiple times. But if you ask it, why would I continue to be involved? That was it. It was at a personal request. I had the opportunity to meet Alex's mother out at Holly Gun Range, which is north of Fort Cavazos. And that's where I met her. She asked me for a personal favor. I gave her my word, I did. And that's how we did that. So point blank. Second thing is, I think anybody that knows anything, and now that I know I've got a drill sergeant on the line, the whole story about the GI Bill, people probably need to really understand how that works, because there's probably some reasons why he wasn't eligible for the GI Bill, and I don't want to go into that. It's not my to go into that, but definitely was going to be eligible for the GI Bill.
Yeah, I was just more curious about how all of that worked. So going forward from here, talk to Alex. I've talked to Alex for probably 4 or 5 hours at this point over the phone, on the stream and whatnot. He sent me
one
over
time told you how he plans on paying back anyone that he owes money to, other than finding out about his favorite. Because here's the deal: we found out. Hold on, focus. We found out again, second time, what our favorite dessert is. We found out that we use Uber Eats. Okay, but here's the one thing we never find out: what's the repayment plan?
I don't know if I can tell it yet, because
you ever taken a payday loan?
He did tell me or show me some things, but I don't think he wants me to share those on stream. But he does have a wacky plan of making money and taking care of his customers.
Making money.
Yes, he does have. He has a wacky plan to get it all done.
Yeah.
And there's a
Hey, bro, trust me. Hey, bro, trust me. I'm grinding. I live in New York.
Hey, tomorrow,
tomorrow's plans are going to don't pay today's bills, right?
Yeah.
Well, so
let me
it
ask you,
sounds to me-
this. Like right
Alex
now,
is-
you're using electricity, you're on the air, there's obviously some Wi-Fi, some way you're using this, right? I want you to stop paying your bills for 6 months and see if you can do what you're doing.
Right. Well, that was kind of what I wanted to at least bring it back to a little bit. Is the only person now that I've talked to AJ, I haven't talked to Jesus. Is Jesus available to chat at some point?
I'm sure he was. I'll be happy to arrange that for us.
Yeah, I mean, if he's around, I'd happy to bring him on right now if possible. I don't know if he's still awake or whatnot. But it's too late where he's at.
But hey, focus. Should we all call our attorney for 30 seconds and then call you right back and say that we can't talk about it? Although everyone's talking about it.
Well,
Since no one knows the January 9th date, although a constable issued him the order in his hands that he had to receive and sign for it.
yeah, I'm not. I don't know about any of that. So he did send me a screenshot after we got off. He did send me a screenshot. Let me see if I can pull it up there. He sent me a screenshot of him calling his lawyer today. So right at that time. So I think he called his lawyer, or he called somebody in his contacts named lawyer, right?
Right.
So okay, so what was I gonna say? So yeah, so there's a couple people that have really been hurt. Obviously, AJ, you're out a crap ton of money. Colonel, you're out a bit of money. Your reputations have been negatively affected, right? Allegedly by some of this stuff. Well, yeah, by being associated with.
It's been fun at work. It's been fun at work, and tons of NCOs that, you know, officers are great, but non-commissioned officers make the best officers. I've had plenty of NCOs and sergeant majors call me like, "Sir, what the fuck, sir?"
Yeah, sir. I would have asked you what happened.
There you go. See,
I'm just
there
a
it
sergeant
is.
first class, but I would have been like, "Sir, come on, what is going on? You got some sort of deal." I'm just a lowly E7, but I would have been having some questions.
Which the lonely E7s run the Army, and so do our majors.
That is correct.
What do E5s do?
Don't let the junior officers forget it.
Yeah, well, you
What
good
do
luck.
E5s do?
Good luck. That's why you have colonels and lieutenant colonels, to be able to talk to lieutenants and say, "Hey, why don't you go back? When you go back to your platoon sergeant, okay? Before you count,
Yeah.
why don't you go find out?"
Majors and lieutenant colonels are my favorite, sir. The lieutenant colonel of the Army or the major of the Army is like, okay, lieutenant. Okay, what's your second? What's your pace plan on that? Oh, might want to go talk to your first sergeant or your platoon sergeant real quick. So,
well, as soon as you teach Alex a pace plan on how to pay his bills, you're going to need a double pace, because he's never going to make the primary, the alternate, the contingency, or the extremis or emergency. You're going to need pace squared, okay?
VS 17 lasso all the way.
And guess what? Don't bring an islet, because he won't know what the fuck it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, he's got about as much experience, right? Here's the next thing. Why do you not decide to serve the country in which provided you housing? I heard about how, you're really shitty in the Army, because that comment was made not by me, but by him today, right? I was a private in 1997.
Well, you're saying Alex said that you were bad in the Army, sir?
No, Alex said we're all poor in the Army. You sergeant first class, me, I'm in the Army still, just like you.
Oh yeah, you're stupid if you work.
Yeah,
Oh.
that was said today, and so
So I would just
Are you a real colonel? I'm as a lowly E5. I just need to be able to talk to a colonel. Are you colonel? Are you a real colonel?
I'm a fake one.
Are you a fake one? Excellent. All right. So my experience with colonels is they're politicians in uniform. At least in my experience. I know you're probably not one, sir, but so I am floored by this whole situation. I really am.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm an irrelevant retard on the internet, right? You can see this helmet.
I like
obviously stupid. Thank you. Are you a history buff?
A bit of it.
Bit of it. Do you recognize the butt plug?
Well, I don't. That's only because my reading glasses and the screen's so small. I apologize. But let me see if I can figure out how to make you larger.
Do you speak German, sir?
World War One. Yeah, he's got
You
a
speak
World War
German?
I helmet.
No, I don't. Okay, I do see it.
Das ist
Das
gut,
ist ein
ja?
Pickelhaube. Das ist ein
Das ist sehr gut,
Pickelhaube.
mein Schatzi.
Oh, he loves this. We love it.
Swine
Yeah,
baby,
that was all.
baby.
I'm listening to this, and I wanted to make a video on this. I want to give this man a firm handshake with a brick. This and mainly. And look, I don't know. Focus. Please correct me if I'm crossing any legal boundaries. Okay, I'm not trying to get anyone.
All right, ready? No, I'll do it for you right now. Okay, these statements do not reflect anyone on this live stream except for Vintage, and he is only referencing these things as in a fictitious environment such as Minecraft. All right.
Thank you very much. All right, so this fucking troglodyte fuck. All right, so Alpha. Okay, this is why this is what I'm fixated on. Okay.
Go ahead.
This man said, I mean, he was talking about not being able to feed his kids at a point. Okay.
Right.
That makes me, I was like, this is going to sound very TikTok girl, but I was like fucking very mad when I heard about that.
Yep.
That is terrible shit. Focus. I think I talked to you a little bit about, I asked for some kind of donation thing because I wanted to do a video on this, but I don't want to, I don't understand the legal shit enough to do it. But that is fucking crazy. When I hear about this guy, I'm going to have a 10K a month apartment in New York.
Right.
No.
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You should ask him. So let's hold right there. Keep the same momentum going because I like it. It's almost like we're doing PT, right? So, but here's what I want you. So ask him about the $12,000 a month house he wants to rent in Westlake here in Austin.
Oh,
what the
Westlake?
fuck?
Okay.
No, for real. Ask him to share the pictures, right? That him and Congressman McCall's son want to rent together.
Personally, I was wondering what the hell else was
Now, mind you, this is after this guy is the guy that went to go see Peter and Jackie. This guy is the guy that went to go buy candles. This guy is the reason why there's a receipt that I sent to Focus that Jackie hand wrote. Focus, you have it.
Mhm.
That's the only reason why we really know the amount that's owed.
I don't know what's up with this thing with Alex accusing the Aussies of stealing a trailer. That was bizarre.
Alex has been working on sending me a bunch of stuff that is anti-alpha tactical because they have gotten themselves in some trouble with different things. The
has nothing to do with this, though.
Well, but that's what I'm going to say is that sure? Like, let's say even like, yeah, they were late on this payment. They were late on that payment. They had to borrow money here, do this. They couldn't pay this guy. The reason they can't pay people, Alex, is maybe because they're owed $9,100 or more, right? So it's if other people did bad things, right, it doesn't excuse you to do bad things to them. So they're still owed money. And them and Jesus are the two guys that are out the most, right? And it really affected his family negatively. And this is after being raided by the ATF due to the whole Texas suppressor thing. So he was already in a very low spot and then gets hammered even lower, right? Where they're talking about begging for food at their local church to feed their kids. Right? They're driving around a borrowed truck.
They did it. I went to go see them. The answer is yes. I went to go see them. Yes, they're not lying.
Well, and so people have been sending me things like, oh, Alpha Tactical, they've done this and this bad. But again, it's kind of irrelevant to the main point of it, right? And the whole Trigger Empire situation, that's different, right? And even if because again, they didn't have payment. So Alpha Tactical, they started selling the design that Jesus had made, right, at shows and whatnot. But that's just to recoup their losses. So I don't even have a problem with them doing that.
Why do we have? I don't have a problem doing them doing that.
Well, Rude, I asked if you want to come on the show, Rude, because Rude is one of the guys who's anti-Alpha Tactical. So I actually want to talk to him as well. So
there we go.
I will bring you on, sir.
One of those accusations right there.
You got to get a hat.
I would like to know. Yeah, it is a hat stream. AJ is the only one who doesn't have to wear a hat.
Since we're on here capping, I figured we'd bring the caps out.
Yeah, for real.
Talking about that fundraiser you were saying, Vintage, is that we did that stream that we did with those guys. It took it from $0 to $1,200. So
that's
that one
excellent.
Video that we did.
That's a big deal,
excellent,
yeah, brother.
Yeah. So I messaged Jackie about that. Jackie was very happy with that. So it's a little chunk of change for Christmas, I suppose.